Hi guys, it's Dinosaur Friend, and it's time for another Let's All Play Pokemon X and Y. So this time around, my opponent will be Mr. Mayo, who is obviously an advocate of mayonnaise, or unless I'm getting that abbreviation wrong. I don't know. But anyways, let me go ahead and kind of introduce the background of this team. I recall when I played this game. By the way, guys, I played this game a long time ago. This is like literally within the first week when I introduced the Let's All Play series. There was maybe like 6 or 7 battles that were kind of strung up, and this was one of them. So I remember when I saw Mr. Mayo's team, I thought to myself, wow, there's a lot of Ubers here. For those of you who don't know, Ubers are, they're the highest tier of Pokemon. They're probably the most powerful. Obviously, most of them are legendaries, as you can see. Legendaries such as Rayquaza and Mewtwo, they're all high up there. So I was like, what am I supposed to do against this, So I decided to just scrap up a team full of, I guess, kind of borderline overused Uber tier, as you can see. As you can see, my team does have a Mewtwo in it and a Blaziken, who are both Ubers. I believe my Blaziken is a Mega. I didn't have the Mega Mewtwo thing yet, so this Mewtwo was actually transferred from my older generation, which is actually a very, very powerful Mewtwo. I really like this Mewtwo, so I didn't actually catch the one in my game yet, so there's no Mega Mewtwo here. So I do have a Ferrothorn as my lead, as always. I really like Ferrothorn as a lead because it can set up a lot of entry hazards, and it's quite powerful, it's quite tanky, so it's a very good Pokemon overall. And it only has 2 weaknesses, which is Fire and Fighting, which is very good. A handful of resistances and just a few weaknesses. It's a very good Pokemon. It also has immunity to poison, and also immunity to any grass-type status effects, which is new to Generation 6. And then obviously I have my Blissey, who's my Cleric. Always love Blissey. And then I also have a Magnezone, who is kind of a strange tank slash special sweeper kind of role. It is really slow, but it is also very powerful. It can also tank a lot of hits just because it's Steel type, and it's just, Magnezone is a very good Pokemon in general. I really like Magnezone. I also have my standard Cloyster, which is kind of a physical tank slash sweeper. It's an odd mix. I would really classify my Cloyster as a sweeper more than anything else, but it can switch into very anything that hits physically hard, because Cloysters do have very, very high defense in general. And then I also have my Blaziken, who's just a standard physical sweeper. This thing will devastate teams once it gets a sword stance up. It'll just devastate everything. So that's kind of the introduction to my team. Mr. Mayo, I'm not 100% sure what kind of team he's running, but it does have a lot of Uber, so it did kind of make me scared, so I had to throw in a couple of Ubers in my team. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this battle started. Alright, so Mr. Mayo is issuing a challenge. Go ahead and Mr. Mayo starts off by sending out his Greninja, and I go ahead and send out my Ferrothorn just because I like Ferrothorn a lot. It's a very good lead Pokemon, as I've mentioned over and over. He can hit hard, and he can also tank it, so I think Ferrothorn's an excellent Pokemon, even though he does look kind of weird. But anyways, Mr. Mayo starts it off with an Ice Beam and then sends a Water Pulse at me. Not a very good idea against Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn is a grass type. Ice Beam is a better choice, but then again, it's not a stab move from Greninja, unless he has Protein. I think that's what the move is called. It doesn't look like the actual word Protein, but it looks like Protein. But anyways, I just go ahead and set up a bunch of layers of Spikes and Rocks, just because Spikes and Rocks actually make a very good combination together, with Spikes hitting most of the ground Pokemon with just kind of a flat-out damage, and Rocks kind of hitting out the flying types with good damage. Of course, there are some kind of like strange Pokemon like Skarmory that can kind of take both of them. So I don't know. It's a good combination of hitting both, because a lot of some Pokemon on the ground are not too great against Stealth Rocks, or they won't take too much damage if they're Rock or Ground type. But anyways, Ferrothorn got frozen, so I sent out Blissey to unfreeze him. I'm also using Blissey to tank the moves that this Greninja has, because Blissey is a fantastic special tank. It'll tank anything. So I basically just make Blissey sit there. Look at her go. It's kind of funny though. Like I kind of look at Blissey at times and I'm just like, how does this thing tank like a massive flamethrower? This is crazy. So anyways, I go ahead and use an aromatherapy, and that cures Blissey of her confusion, and it also cures Ferrothorn of his freezing. So anyways, right now I try to pull off a toxic on Greninja, just because I know that Greninja won't be able to basically he won't be able to do too much damage to me. And I actually didn't know I had an extra sentry, so that was kind of a weird attack. But anyways, Greninja goes ahead and uses another Ice Beam on me, and I believe this Ice Beam actually ends... Oh wait, maybe it's the next one, but I'm still confused. I don't know why I thought aromatherapy cures confusion, but I guess not. So this confusion is really getting to me because I can't pull off a toxic just yet. So the battle rages on. Just Blissey slapping herself in the face. Anyways, I go ahead and take another Ice Beam, and unfortunately, this one freezes me. I got kind of frustrated here because I got frozen twice in this game. Freezing from Ice Beam is only 10%, and getting frozen twice is actually a very, very low percentage. But anyways, it's kind of funny is Blissey is still able to eat her leftovers. Despite being frozen. I find that hilarious. I have no idea why, but I think that's like the most hilarious thing in the world. It's like, you freeze this Neanderthal and it continues eating. It's like, I don't know, lamb shank while it's like frozen. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. But personally, I think that Mr. Mayo might have benefited more if he switched to a special, a physical sweeper here, because Blissey takes a lot of damage from physical sweepers, and I believe his Rayquaza might have been one, because Rayquaza is better off a physical sweeper than a special sweeper. But anyways, I do get off a toxic finally, which I can just sit here and be all pretty. But I go ahead and switch out because I'm like, okay, this thing's just using Ice Beam and Water Pulse. I could just switch to my Cloyster and totally be okay here, just because Cloyster can take it. It's not very effective, but I am kind of weary of extra sentry, but it shouldn't do too much. So Greninja goes ahead and pulls off an Ice Beam, which I find kind of peculiar just because I'm doubly resistant to ice, being ice and water. So I go ahead and obviously do a Shell Smash, because Cloyster Shell Smash is probably one of the most broken Pokemon ever. So with the benefit of this Shell Smash, I am now faster than this Greninja, which you know, now I can get the first strike, and I go ahead and use a Rock Blast, because Rock Blast can hit 5 times with Cloyster, and my Cloyster is equipped with the King's Rock, so I am confident that if this doesn't kill, which I'm pretty sure it does, because Greninja has, obviously it did right there, but Greninja has pretty low defenses, so I was pretty sure it was going to kill. But even if it didn't, I still have that 41% chance to flinch the Pokemon, which gives me an extra move. Cloyster can get really broken with Shell Smash, so Mr. Mayor goes ahead and sends out his Charizard, and I go ahead and use Icicle Spear. And the reason why I didn't use Rock Blast, even though Charizard is extremely weak against Rock, is because Rock Blast has a 90% accuracy rate, and I didn't want to risk the chance of Charizard sending back a Flamethrower, because that could really hurt Cloyster. Cloyster has a very low special defense, so especially with the Shell Smash, it goes even lower. So I go ahead and go for 100% accuracy, and it does end up hitting neutral damage, so that was good on my part. And Rayquaza evidently got one shot, unfortunately, just because Rayquaza is a Dragon Flying type, takes ×4 damage from ice moves. That's very unfortunate. But anyways, as the battle rages on, Mr. Mayo sends out his Arceus, which evidently takes almost a third of its hit points just from those rocks and spikes. As you can see, I really like entry hazards. It's probably one of the most important parts of Pokemon in terms of competitive gameplay. It makes the opponent think twice on switching out, especially on Pokemon that are vulnerable to your entry hazards, such as Stealth Rocks. As you can see, this Xerneas has taken a third of its hit points out just because of that. And just because when Pokemon are afraid to switch, counters, the opponent has a small chance of switching out to a counter to whatever you have. So entry hazards are really good unless they have a Rapid Spinner and gets rid of them, and that gets disappointing, especially if you spent 4 turns setting up everything. So Xerneas unfortunately feints to a Icicle Spear, so Unfortunately, that was no good for him. So now Mr. Mayo sends out his Mewtwo, which personally I believe Mewtwo should have been sent out right after Greninja fainted, just because this Mewtwo is actually Mega Mewtwo X, which is a fighting type, and fighting types are really good against ice types, which is what Cloyster is here, and especially after a Shell Smash, Cloyster just gets exponentially weaker, but unfortunately, this Mewtwo isn't terribly fast compared to Cloyster. I believe if it was a Jolly Mewtwo, it would have been able to outspeed me, but unfortunately it didn't, and that was actually a pretty devastating sweep. So anyways, as you can see in this battle, Uber Pokemon aren't always the best Pokemon if they don't have the right team synergy. I do want to mention that many Uber Pokemon under the right support can tear entire teams apart in a blink of an eye. I have used Mega Mewtwo Y in the past to great effect, and once it was out, even without using any boosting moves, it tore apart the opposing team with great ease. I would like to give a tip to Mr. Mayo, as I've said to others before. When you are having trouble breaking a defensive Pokemon, it is not necessarily the best move to continually go on the offensive. It may be best to switch out to another more suitable Pokemon in order to break it. If a physical Rayquaza was sent out against Blissey and used a Dragon Dance, this game could have easily played out very differently. Anyways, thank you for playing with me, Mr. Mayo. So if you guys like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more info on the Let's All Play series. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you guys on the next one.